As Canadian dairy farmers, we have a long tradition of continuously improving farm practices. Over the years, with the help of many experts, we have refined and adopted better practices and innovations. Not only because as dairy farmers, we care deeply for our animals, the quality of our milk, and the sustainability of our environment, but also because you care too. And that matters to us. Initiated by Dairy Farmers of Canada and its members in 2012, proAction shows you in a transparent way that we stand by these values and abide by the best standards and practices the world has to offer. proAction gives us national metrics to measure and demonstrate farm sustainability performance over time. Not only can you check up on these metrics and the overall performance of our dairy sector, every farmer can compare their own farm performance with their peers from across the country. Improvement has always been important to us. We know it's important to you too. This initiative is how we continue to raise the bar. We will continue to improve because we share your values. We care for the well-being of our animals and our environment. We are proud to demonstrate milk quality and sustainability to maintain your confidence and trust. We're all in this together because Canadian milk matters. For more information, please visit dairyfarmers.ca/proaction.
Thank you, Isabelle, and bonjour tout le monde. It is
Good day, everyone.
Here today to present our story, the DFC Sustainability Initiative called proAction. There is a lot of work behind our initiative. It was initiated and developed by farmers for farmers to implement with government oversight. Two members of our DFC board, Pierre Lampron and David Weens, lead the initiative, and they will be presenting it to you today. We hope that after today, you will be going to be as excited as we are as Dairy Farmers of Canada about our sustainability initiative for next generations. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. We are happy to share with you the results of our industry's continuous efforts towards sustainable development, and this is what has motivated us to develop this initiative. As Isabelle said, this is our 6th generation on the farm. The 7th is coming up, and sustainability is nothing new. Farmers have always taken care of their land, of their animals. That has always been the case, but we decided to develop proAction to communicate what we do and what we have always done. We trust in our work, and we want to show you why we are doing this. Now, the improvement is something that motivates us. Dairy farmers have always wanted to improve. This is something that has always motivated us. Firstly, our dairy industry is an important economic motor in Canada. It's the economy in our regions. It is rural. Some of our villages depend on it. Consumers have a very good opinion of farmers and dairy farmers, and we want to keep earning that trust. We have a great reputation, but the fact that we have a great reputation doesn't mean we're going to do nothing about it. We want to maintain it and grow this reputation. And the dairy farmers realize that we have exactly the same care and concerns that you have. We want to take care of our land, of our animals. The relationship we had, the surveys, we know what people think, and we have the same cares. The quality of our milk, the protection of the environment, the air, the water, the soil, these are all things that we have in common with consumers. And this is important because back in the day, everyone has an uncle, a brother, someone who had a farm, so they had an easy relationship there. Now that relationship is much more distant. A lot of people have no relationship with a farm, but consumers have more and more questions about what goes on farm. They don't know an uncle or anyone in the family, so they wonder what's happening on farms. And this is why we have developed proAction. back to the link and the relationship with the consumers. We have a good relationship with consumers. Consumers like farmers. We like consumers. But the way that this happens in the industry is that consumers are now asking their questions of processors or food suppliers. You should demand this and that. And David is going to give us an overview of the requirements that are part of the program. And then these companies turn around and tell us this is what we require. So instead of getting different requirements all over the place, we've decided to put all of these requirements together in one single initiative, proAction. proActions are, our farmers are all involved in proAction and developing things. And fundamentally, all farmers are in favor of this because if you pollute, less, you waste less. This is good for the farm. It's also good for future generations. So there's a relationship between all of these savings. If the cow is well cared for, she produces better, and we get better results. I could give you some examples on my own farm. We've always done this. My grandparents did it. We were organic farmers because we believed in that. We have cared for the land. We calculate everything that we put into the land so that there's no waste. If the cow doesn't use it, then it would be wasted. So we care for all of that, and people are there working on a day-to-day basis to maintain the farm for future generations. And what has been done, all of these various initiatives were done province by province, but proAction is Canada-wide, so we've grouped all of our efforts together to have one national initiative where each producer will meet proAction requirements. And I'm going to talk about supply management because in Canada we have supply managed milk production. All of the milk goes into the same channel, so all of the producers have to meet the same requirements, and we can guarantee that under proAction this is mandatory and every farm in Canada will meet these requirements. So supply management may have good points and bad points. This is definitely a good point about supply management, the fact that everyone is going through the same means to market their milk. And proAction is made up of 6 modules, as you see on screen, and we have we have standards set for farmers to show our clients that we have good sustainable practices and we can answer consumers' questions. I also need to let you know that this isn't set in time. This is something that is continuous. We are continuing to do research. So the mill modules are as they are, but they are going to evolve over time to keep improving with new knowledge. I also want to say that we have worked with several experts in our industry over the years to develop proAction. I won't name all of them. You see them on screen. And this hasn't been just an initiative for and by producers. There has been a lot of work because all of these various modules evolved over time, but we decided to act as quickly as we could. So we had a lot of people involved to have something that was credible and that made sense. So I want to thank all of those who helped to work on this program, and thank you to all of you for being here.
With proAction, we aim to demonstrate greater transparency about farm practices and their impacts. We're developing a credible national metrics that measure and demonstrate the performance of the sector, as well as allowing farmers to compare with their peers. And this helps us to actually improve the productivity across all farms in Canada. It's very important for us as farmers to be able to gauge how each one of us is doing, and it's often the best way to do that is by the comparisons. And we've kept on schedule, as you can see the schedule there, and that is because we work in synergy and efficiently with various experts in our industry. Farmers volunteered actually to make the standard of milk quality even stricter. That happened a number of years ago, and we did that on our own will. It wasn't something that our clients or the government were necessarily pushing on us at the time, and yet there's a desire for continuous improvement on the part of dairy farmers. As some of you may know, all dairy farmers are already licensed and regularly inspected by provincial authorities. So on food safety, The Canadian Food Inspection Agency had to judge that the validation requirements met the international ISO and HACCP standards. And today, in fact, the Minister of Agriculture announced officially that the CFIA's recognition for our rigorous process here with this program. And I'd like to also, with pleasure, let everybody know that we already have 99% of dairy farms in Canada on this program. Animal care comes naturally to farmers, yet at the same time, we do this together with the help of many experts that help us through research and so on, find ways of improving animal care and also to improve with each generation of animals. It is true that a comfortable, healthy, happy cow produces more milk and milk of higher quality. And as a result of this program, I can talk about a personal experience that we had on our farm when we were part of the pilot on the animal care assessment module. We had another look at our facilities where our cows are housed, and we found ways, and it was interesting. We actually invited a group of other dairy farmers to come take a tour through our barn and to be able to comment on what they saw as good things, as areas that needed improvement. And so as a result of that, we made some adjustments in the barn, and our barn is not that old. It's only about 8 years old. And so with the help of a good set of wrenches and a day's worth of labor, we made some adjustments. In our case, it was particularly the stalls, and we found that, in fact, that in itself increased the production of the cows by 1 kg of milk per day. So that's pretty significant. And so those are ways in which this program is extremely sustainable. Again, not only for where it improves the comfort of the cows, it actually also improves our bottom line. For the animal care portion, DFC has chosen Holstein Canada to do the national benchmarking of the animal state of well-being. The classifiers of Holstein Canada have a very specialized job. They are highly skilled in assessing the cow's physical appearance and know the genetic predisposition of the cows. Canada is unique in that 2/3 of dairy farms in Canada are already doing the classification. This is compared to about 15 to 30% in other countries. And we also have long recognized that our animals are sentient beings. Some cows are, and so they do have varying personalities in the barn. Some are leaders, others are more timid, some are more curious, others are more shy, and so on. It just goes on and on. But what is important is that we want to make sure that regardless of what the cow's personality is like, that they all have a fair chance of having their needs met within the facility. And of course, again, I want to talk a little bit about the research. We've made investment at Dairy Farms of Canada. We've made investments into research, and over the past 20 years, this research has given us a tremendous boost in terms of where we are today. And it has been instrumental in creating this animal care assessment module for our proAction initiative. Now, and so I want to talk a little bit about our environment module as well. All Canadian dairy farmers live and work on their farms, and so it is important for them to protect the land, the water, and the air for their families, surrounding communities, and future generations. Dairy cows can make a high-value milk product out of products that we as humans don't consume. And of course, the biggest thing is forage. So we can turn a low-value commodity into a high-value product. Farmers have made efficiency gains over time, which has also had a great positive impact on the environment. We have reduced gas emissions from our farms by about 1% per year since 1990. Part of this environment module has there's two tools, and of course the one tool is the environmental farm plan, which is something that's been ongoing in provinces for many years, and so we've incorporated the environmental farm plan into the environment module. as well as the life cycle analysis. So now to inspect or look at the farm and look at areas that need improvement. And so it is about reducing the environmental impact that our farms have. And then the other part of this module is the life cycle analysis, which was completed in 2012. We got a benchmark of how much land, water, and energy are needed to produce milk in Canada, and how we roughly compare to other countries. And of course, that showed us that we were actually did very well relative to other countries. But this life cycle analysis tool can also show us where we could make improvements on the farms. And we finance the development of a tool which is internet-based and will be available this summer. It's called Dairy Farm Plus. It is one of the first environment and social footprinters designed for use on the individual farm or business for benchmarking. And that's been a huge progress in terms of measurement again. So we understand too, the question sometimes comes up, well, so now you have this initiative, will this mean that milk will become more expensive? And the answer is simply no, it will not. Good sustainable practices are not only good for animals, land, and consumers. Sustainable practices are also good ultimately for the dairy farmer's bottom line. For example, investments in breeding and genetics since 1970 means that a cow today produces 10,100 kilograms of milk in 10 months in one lactation. The same amount of milk in 1970 took 2 to 3 cows to do. So that's a 175% increase in production. And this is another area where we are actually becoming more sustainable, not only for the environment, not only for the animals, but also for our bottom line as producers. You know, another question may be, is that good for the cows? So you've made, there's this tremendous increase in production. How can that be good for the cows? And farmers are able to select for genetic traits that were hard to select for before, such as health and longevity. And so today's cows are bigger and stronger. And of course, another very important tool is genomics. And that is a more recent technological advancement from which our Canadian dairy industry has benefited tremendously. It allows us to make twice as much progress on the animal potential recently than in years prior. We know that to maintain your trust and the trust of consumers across the country, we have to be committed to transparency about our practices and to credible national metrics that measure and demonstrate performance. Being transparent about the practices of all farms and having measurable benchmarks and targets. Anyone can check this out online. And it is our offer to our customers and consumers the ability to see for themselves that dairy farmers in Canada are doing the right thing. And we want you to know about that. During the summer of 2015, DFC hired Environics Research to conduct a nationwide survey to see how Canadians feel about farmers. The results are very clear. Canadians support their dairy farmers. 91% said it was important or very important that their milk products come from Canadian farmers. They also perceive, and rightly so, that Canadian milk is of higher quality. And this is consistent with the results of previous surveys as well. And so we know that we've had some very where this proAction initiative is something that we're very proud of, and I think it will help to increase transparency and continue to build the trust that we have with our customers and consumers. We hope that this presentation has helped you to better understand what Canadian farmers are doing and how we're being transparent and dedicated to sustainability.